Now at 5, a major winter storm blasts the Wasatch Front, dumping feet of snow in the mountains and really parts of the Wasatch Front.
Some school districts closed for the first time, I should say, in years. Avalanche watch and control underway and road conditions monitored around the clock. We have team coverage of this big winter storm.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News at 5 starts now.
Good to be with you this evening. I'm Emily Flores.
And I'm Don Hudson. Thank you very much for joining us tonight and really for staying inside right now. Our top story is the winter storm just pummeled the entire Wasatch Front. The mountains covered with a couple of feet of snow. The valley's getting several inches and more than a foot in some areas.
Now many are preparing for lake effect snow, so this is not over yet. We have team coverage of this winter storm.
And we want to begin with ABC4's Rosie Nguyen, who joins us live where the snow plows, with the question, or answering the question, where the snow plows were this morning. Good evening, Rosie.
Hey, good evening, Don and Emily. UDOT officials promised me that all 550 of their snow plows were out in full force statewide since the storm began. But some of the people that I talked to today say they didn't see one snow plow during their morning commute at all. Some of them were out as early as 3 in the morning, and they say the roads were not plowed whether it was on or off the freeway. Officials say it really depended on where you were and what time you were on the roads. They say they were dealing with a monstrous storm, and it became a race between plows and Mother Nature. In some parts, the accumulation built up so fast, they say the roads were covered in a new blanket of snow within 15 minutes.
But when you have a big storm that's just blasting the area like this morning, we sometimes will take some of those resources from the urban roads and put them on the interstates to make sure that that big volume of traffic that's moving through there can get through there safely.
Now, I just want to show you, take a look at this map right here. We've been seeing this map just covered in orange icons all day, showing exactly where the plows are. You can do the tracking yourself by downloading UDOT's traffic app on your smartphone. Now, while many school districts opted to cancel classes today, the Utah's biggest school district actually chose not to. ABC4's Rick Aaron joins us live in Lehigh with the answer why. Rick.
Well, Rosie, I talked to Alpine School District spokesman David Stevenson today, and he told me that their spotters determined that road conditions were good enough for Fox Hollow Elementary and the district's 77 other schools to hold classes as usual. Now, even though the Utah Department of Transportation advised people to stay off of the roads this morning, the Alpine School District sent out this message around 6 a.m. that their schools would be ready for business with no delays. By mid-afternoon, the district's Facebook post received over 2,200 comments. Matt Christensen called it a big mistake, while Chrissy Law said, quote, no teens or anyone else for that matter should be driving in this. And Elena Johnson said, quote, you're sending thousands of people into extremely risky conditions.
I'm not happy about it. I would hope that they would keep these teenage drivers off the road. Sometimes the kids don't know if their teachers are going to be lenient or not, and so they really try to get to school, and we were digging cars out along the way. I think that safety needs to be first and foremost, always with the kids, and the education secondary.
Now, Stevenson told me that many parents chose to keep their children at home today anyway, and those students would not be penalized for their absence. Let's go now to ABC4's Nick McGurk, who's keeping an eye on the conditions in East Mill Creek. Nick?
Well, Rick, I don't know what it looks like by you, but we've been seeing snow here for the last couple of hours, right? People in the benches are going to continue seeing snow. Now let's take a look at the roads. This is I-215, I-80's nearby. It's almost as if a lot of folks have stayed home tonight. Not a huge evening commute on the roads, and that's definitely a good sign. The roads look okay from here, but the snow does continue to fall. We saw one of those 400-plus crashes this afternoon as we drove across Salt Lake. Seems like that all too common along the Wasatch Front today. Of course, there were snow plows out trying to clear parking lots, and then there were folks shoveling their own driveways. We asked Shirley Madsen if she thinks anybody should be driving today.
No.
Day to stay home, watch TV, which is what everybody's been doing, so that's good.
All right, so we're back live here in East Mill Creek. If you had any doubt about the snow out there, there's been a lot of it. We're going to toss it now to Alana Brophy in Bountiful with the latest. Alana?
And Nick, you're right. There's a lot of snow out there, and we're not done just yet. Valleys here on the benches and up in the mountains, the storm totals make your jaw drop. Brighton Resort picking up 63 inches since Sunday. Alta getting 51 inches this morning. Couple feet of snow. That's what plow drivers were facing. Take a look at this video. This is up Little Cottonwood Canyon at around 4:30 this morning. The plows were pushing about 18 inches. I was there. That snowfall rate about 2 to 3 inches an hour by 5:30. The number was up to about 2 feet. An avalanche warning came out for the Wasatch Mountains. We've got this wet, heavy snow in the high country. UDOT decided to keep Little Cottonwood Canyon closed for the day. They were facing natural slide activity and then controlled avalanche work. You know, that is not work for the faint of heart. These UDOT employees really putting their lives on the line when they head up our canyons. On Sunday night at 10, we're going to take an in-depth look as to what goes into keeping our canyons safe. I will bring you that look, and I tell you what, it is intense when it comes to what goes on at the tops of our mountains. Don, Emily?
Well, Alana, before we let you go, I know you're telling us, and we're seeing some video, but I know you were there during the height of this. I mean, we're right in the thick of it. What was that like?
Very, very intense, Don. Right now you're seeing light snowfall here on the bench, but I think the best way to put it, driving with the head of the Cottonwood shed, saying feels like we're in the Millennium Falcon. We were dealing with that kind of heavy snow coming towards the windshield. That'll give you the visual of what it was like. Visibility down to nothing. Extremely wet, heavy snow. And when you were driving, covering up those tire tracks very, very quickly in a matter of minutes.
Alana, at this point, what does avalanche danger look like? Real quick before you go.
Well, Emily, we have that avalanche warning for the Wasatch. It's a high danger. It's going to remain high. That's why Little Cottonwood's still closed, and there were restrictions in Big Cottonwood as well. We have the Cache Valley in the considerable range. That's the only portion of northern Utah that's not in the high category, but we know that this is going to stick around, and we often know with avalanche danger, even when the storm clears and the sun comes out, danger still persists. So it's something we'll be monitoring very closely in the Pinpoint Weather Center. Don, Emily, back
Thank
to you.
you so much for your hard work out there. It seems like there is no question our meteorologist cannot answer at this point.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy.
I love how she compared it to like Star Wars warp speed, except for going probably 5 miles an hour.
Right, right.
She's the best. She's really
the best. Dan, give us, I know you have more in depth on this whole storm and what's still to come. What else do we have?
Well, let me just re-emphasize what Alana was saying. Very, very dangerous. If I were you, I would not go into the backcountry right now. And if you go into the backcountry and you're on your sled or you're snowshoeing, stay in the flat area. Stay in the flats. Do not go near any of the steep slopes. All right, Camille Anthony Prati, she's my friend on Facebook and Tooele. She sent me a picture, 18 inches of snow. She put that measuring tape in the ground to show me I got that much. Mill Creek 15.5, Murray 15, 14.1 in Sandy, 12.2 in Cedar City, Fairview 12 inches. My house on the West Jordan bench, 12 inches of snow. Bountiful 11. Hey, it's not very often I get more snow at my house than Bountiful, but that was the case. Santaquin 10 and Park City 10. Winter storm warnings remain in effect until 8 p.m. tonight over the northern part of Utah, and the winter weather advisories until 6 p.m. But one exception, the Salt Lake County area is under a winter storm warning until 5 a.m. That's because we have winter moving off the Great Salt Lake. Snow squalls. They're forming on the lake and moving down through the valley. And it's hard for the radar to see long distance because these snow squalls are lower elevation. So we're getting that snow across the Salt Lake Valley. But notice the entire lake, it's like a mountain. It's just lifting that air up and causing snow to fall. So how much snow do we anticipate will fall with this particular storm? Well, we're talking about all areas across the Bountiful, Salt Lake, West Jordan, Draper areas, 3 to 8 inches of additional snowfall tonight. I'm going to have more detail on this coming up in my full Pinpoint weather forecast in just a few minutes.
Yeah, there is a lot to keep track of. So count on the ABC4 team, the Pinpoint weather team, to bring you the latest developments from this winter storm. And of course, future storms on air when we're out here and online anytime, ABC4.com.
All right, well, still ahead, as Southern Utah High School gets a new mascot, this after a controversial debate.
I'm Morgan Wright in Washington. Coming up, the president has reiterated his demands for a border wall during his State of the Union address. Lawmakers continue to weigh in as a bipartisan conference committee is working to find a solution on border security. All the details ahead.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
For top quality floors at rock bottom prices, come to Floor & Decor.
If you love your wallet and you love your home, you have to go.
Hardwoods, laminates, tile, or stone.
The pros come here, I come here.
Hands down, the best place for floors, no question.
Floor & Decor.
Fact is, Americans move more than anyone else in the world.
Come on, guys, in here.
On average, we'll live in 11 homes.
Hey, let me help.
And every time we move, things change.
Guys, help your mom out.
Apartments become houses. Cars become minivans.
Mom, it's only an hour away.
As we upgrade and downsize. An Allstate agent will do the same for our protection. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
It's easy to replace your tub or shower when you choose Bath Fitter. Hi, I'm Bill Booman.
And I'm Rick Booman from Bath Fitter. Bath Fitter brings the showroom to your home and helps you choose the perfect tub or shower for you.
Installed in as little as 1 day by our Bath Fitter team.
Bath Fitter guarantees the best price and the best warranty.
From Logan to St. George, we serve all of Utah. Why call anyone else?
You must call now for your free in-home estimate and receive up to $450 off. It's better with Bath Fitter.
Ready, hut. We get it. You want fair compensation after your accident. Your medical bills are expensive. Your life, your well-being, it's taking a big hit. The Advocates, we understand what you're going through. Our attorneys are available 24/7 to take your call. The Advocates, we're going to help you get back in the game. Excuse me, I got to take this. Hello? The Advocates?
Call the Advocates with your injury case. 801-355-5550. You deserve an advocate.
Join ABC4 Utah in giving the gift of sight to the underserved population of El Salvador. Donate used eyeglasses and mobility devices in good condition at any Performance Auto dealership in Bountiful or here at our studios. Performance Auto is good for Utah.
In my profession, I can't let asthma slow me down. I do everything I can to stay healthy. The only other thing I can do is ask you to help.
Visit ucare.org for simple ways you can help improve our air.
Exclusive. Dance Mom's Abby Lee Miller for the first time her life behind bars. Next in Sun Edition.
Tonight at 6:30 on ABC4 Utah.
You're watching ABC4 News with Don Hudson, Emily Flores, and Dan Pope.
The House Senate Conference Committee held a closed-door meeting today with the Border Patrol and others as it searches for a border security compromise.
Lawmakers want to know what's truly needed to secure the border. Washington correspondent Morgan Wright has the story.
This is a complete failure of leadership in Congress.
New York Congressman Tom Reed says finding a solution to avoid another shutdown is up to Congress. A group of Republican and Democratic lawmakers met in an effort to find a compromise to border security.
Physical barriers like we have now, but it would also address the dreamers, it would address legal immigration.
But the president has called the negotiations useless and is threatening to declare a national emergency to secure funding for his border wall, a message he repeated in his State of the Union address.
In the past, most of the people in this room voted for a wall, but the proper wall never got built. I will get it built.
Members of Congress remain optimistic a compromise can be reached and are calling on the president to avoid an emergency and work with the conference committee to find a solution.
If it's not going to be a waste of time, you need the president sitting there at the table, sleeves rolled up, doing the work along with the members of Congress.
But that work needs to happen quickly. The next deadline that could lead to another shutdown is next week. In Washington, Morgan Wright, ABC4 News.
After more than 70 years, the mascot at Cedar High is going to be changed. In a special meeting last night, the Iron County School Board voted 3-2 to retire the Redmond mascot at the Cedar City School. Now, the move comes after months of hearings and testimony and fact-finding by a special committee set up by the board, which recommended that change. The board president, Dr. Stephen Allen, says now a transition team will be formed to take the next step.
Age and generation so that our older alum as well as our newer alum
have a voice on this process? Well, I think it's important that we have some time to say goodbye to our mascot and to have some closure.
Now, Alan voted for that change as well. He calls it a painful process, but one that he says in the end will preserve as much of the heritage and history of Cedar High as possible.
Back in December 1966, Utahns were terrified. 6 people were killed in just 1 week. It was the first time a team of serial killers were roaming the streets of Salt Lake County.
Eventually, 2 people arrested and convicted of those murders, and it is the focus of tonight's Justice Files report, Utah's first serial killers. ABC4 senior crime and punishment correspondent Marcos Ortiz turning back the pages of history. So, Marcos, what made these serial killers different?
You know, it's rare that authorities come across a team of serial killers, and that's what Myron Lance and Walter Kalbach were. There's some accounts that they were gay cousins. Others report they met at a gay bar and struck a friendship. But one thing was certain, both were vicious, cold-blooded killers. Now, the first body was found in the West Desert. It belonged to 18-year-old Stephen Shea, who authorities say was kidnapped and raped before being shot in the head. Another robbery at a service station in Salt Lake City. Another teen, Michael Holtz, was dead. He, too, had been shot in the head, kidnapped and raped. December 21st, there's trouble between a cab driver and customers. Dispatch calls for backup, but it was too late. Drivers found one of their own dead. But the night's not over. Lawley's Tavern is next hit. 3 are shot to death. 3 others survive. Here's what police back in 1966 were saying.
Forced the bartender to take the cash drawer and empty it into one of the men's pockets. Turned around and fired 1 shot directly at a man. The witness thought he was pretending, saw the man fall, saw the blood, and the shooting continued. The witness stated that he knew both of these men had played dead, and that's why he was not shot.
Such a bloody scene. About a half hour later, Myron Lance and Walter Kalbach were arrested at a roadblock in Parley's Canyon. They're accused of killing 6 people in that week of terror. They were identified by survivors there at the Lawley's Tavern. Now, there was so much anxiety going on in that week in December. It's amazing the access that authorities gave to the media back then.
Right.
Very close-up shots of everything.
Yeah, it was a little different nowadays, but I'm thinking about their punishment. What were they punished, or how were they punished?
Yeah, in 1967 they were convicted and sentenced to die, but then in 1972 the U.S. Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional, so their lives were spared. They were given a chance of parole.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty surprising, and that's something in one of our reports as well, too.
Wow.
Something we can't deny, too. You think of these families. Where's justice served for these families?
Well, I don't think so. You know, these families, even to the very end, were unsatisfied with what happened. They wanted the death penalty. And then also, there was a moment of when they escaped. So you can imagine the anxiety that these families were going through back in that time period.
I don't know if I can imagine.
No.
I mean, just you telling me makes me anxious, but geez, for the family, that's terrible.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
It's a plain awful story. Just awful.
Well, much more to come from you, Marcos. Thank you so much.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast. Weather Rate certified 7 years in a row.
Well, the radar doesn't show it, but the Payson camera does. It is snowing in Payson. Not a lot, just a little bit. The problem is the radar sits on top of Promontory Point, 6,700 feet up and about 90 miles north of Salt Lake City. So by the time the radar beam hits Payson, it's at about 19,000 feet. It's not able to see the snow. And sometimes we have these big holes in the radar, and that's the reason. Now, snow is falling across the Salt Lake Valley. We have snow now again in Tooele. We have snow across the Great Salt Lake. In fact, look at this with me. All of the Great Salt Lake, nearly the entire lake, where's the snow falling? Not in the mountains, it's on the lake. That's a perfect example of how Great Salt Lake effect happens during the cold, even during the coldest times of the year. The lake is running about 33 degrees, but the air above it is so cold it's able to lift it up and cause lake effect. So it's snowing a little bit around Moab, and we have some snow showers skirting by St. George. Might even be a little snow shower briefly in parts of Washington County, especially even in the lower elevations. All right, bottom line for tonight's commute. Weber County, 23 with black ice. Okay, so there's not a lot of snow there. Davis, snow and ice. Salt Lake, this is where the worst of it will be. That's why we have red for you. It's yellow for all the other areas, but red in Salt Lake County, slushy, snow covered. And in Utah County, pockets of snow. We're getting SR 92 covered with snow all the way out to Alpine, so that's not good. But Tooele County, areas of snow, especially this evening, and then tapering off later tonight. Winds, they're picking up a little bit. They're causing some cold wind chills. The temperature's outside at 24 degrees right now in Salt Lake City. 2 degrees in Rock Springs, 23 in Cedar City. This is cold stuff. But the wind chill in Rock Springs right now is a brutally cold -20, you folks in Sweetwater County. Wow. 16 is what it feels like in Vernal, 12 in Salt Lake City, 31 in St. George, 6 in Cedar City. So the Futurecast shows these pockets of snow coming across from the Great Salt Lake. Here's one moving down over the Salt Lake Valley at 8 p.m. We have a super computer that does the animation and crunches the numbers. It's called the Barron 3-kilometer model, and we have exclusive access to it, so it's able to see snow showers from the Great Salt Lake. There's one popping up at 10 p.m. over Tooele. Here we go again with another lake effect snow squall. This one at midnight comes across and over the east side of the Salt Lake Valley at 2 a.m. And then things start to look like they're improving, but we get one more shot of snow in the morning around Bountiful before all is said and done. This storm then pretty much is over with. How much will fall? So in Farmington, 1 to 2 inches, 3 to 5 in Bountiful on the bench, 2 to 4 around Salt Lake City. Heaviest amounts, Holiday, Sandy, East Mill Creek, in the Sandy Hall, Draper areas, okay? And there's some of that will spill over Suncrest into Alpine, 1 to 3 for you folks. 1 to 3 Kearns and South Jordan, as it looks like the greatest impact will be on the east side of the valley, but still, folks on the west side will get hit. And a little more snow in Tooele, as you can see. We're still getting a little bit of snow right now on the latest radar. 9 degrees in Logan tonight. All right, we may have to adjust this. The forecast low is the current temperature in Rock Springs. We may have to go below 0 in Rock Springs. We have to go back and check that one out. 9 in Vernal, 7 in Price. Very cold tonight, so anywhere there has been snowfall, like Cedar City, you've had 12.2 inches over the course of this storm. You may end up with a lot of black ice to deal with. So here we go, area by area. Evanston, 0. 6 below in Randolph. 2 below Park City, Heber 6 below. Tomorrow's high temperatures, mid to upper 20s. Normal high for this time of the year is 40, 41, so we're running 10 to 12 degrees below average. It's cold for even the early part of February. Can you believe this? But we will see abundant sunshine, a lot of sunshine across central Utah and southern Utah as well, as we look for a high temperature of 27 in Parowan, Enterprise 27, and St. George. How about that? 42, that's cold stuff. 41 on Friday, but buco bunches of sunshine, 23 and 22 the next 2 nights. Clouds will come and go, but the storms look like they're going to skim by to the north. And there are a couple of storms that you will see with me here as we talk about the morning showers on Thursday and a slight chance for showers Saturday. Not a big deal. We'll stay pretty cold, but we do warm up Sunday. The warm before the storm, I call it a hot 2. That's Utah spelled backwards, 43, and then a storm on Monday, a pretty strong cold front, 2 to 4 inches of snow. So these storms are big.
Yeah, you say hot 2 like that, I want to get you a handkerchief.
Well, hot
Yes.
2. It's a hot or
That's
warm
an
before the
official
storm.
word, or that's something you made up?
I made it up.
Oh, you made it up. I thought that was an official word.
Actually, there's another person who said it. I won't mention his name, but I learned it from him.
All right.
People out there who know will
They
know
know.
where it came
They
from.
Send in your new
All right,
words.
well, inside joke.
Dan will
How
try
will
them
you
out.
know?
Dan will try them
Hot
out.
2.
Okay, well, thank you, Dan.
Welcome.
Coming up, how much money are you planning to spend for Valentine's Day? Well, we'll tell you how much men plan to spend versus women after the break.
So my old dining table was, it was a card table. My fiance's parents were coming over for dinner and I needed to make a good impression. So I went to the place that had all the dining room sets my brain could imagine. I went to R.C. Willey.
R.C. Willey's experts can help you make a good impression with a new dining set. Like this set that complements a variety of styles. Now $7.99.
My fiance's parents loved the dining room table, and I think I'm growing on them.
The old crew. Remember when we all used to go to the cafeteria and just chow down midday?
You mean like lunch?
Come on. Voted most likely to help people save $668 when they switch?
At this school?
Didn't you get caught in the laminating machine?
box. Have a great summer, Danielle. Ooh, Danielle, control yourself.
I'd like to slow it down here with a special discount for a special girl. Danielle, this one's for you.
Put some adventure in your life and attend
the Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show, February 14th through the 17th at the Mountain America Expo.
See hundreds of new RVs, motorhomes, travel trailers, and accessories.
Buy at the show and save. Take advantage of special show financing.
Find RV accessories, fishing, and RV travel destinations.
Gourmet and Dutch oven cooking classes.
Register to win an Alaskan fishing trip.
ABC4 Utah and CW30 invite you to the RV Show, February 14th through the 17th.
You still live at home with your parents?
Yep.
You don't have a job?
Nope.
I see.
I did encourage my parents to get a home energy plan from Dominion Energy to help clean Utah's air.
Wow.
Yeah. Natural gas is clean and all, but being energy efficient, it's even better.
Marry me.
I should ask my mom first.
Do I use a toothpaste that whitens my teeth or one that's good for my teeth? Now I don't have to choose.
From Crest 3D White, the whitening therapy collection with new spearmint and peppermint oil. It gently whitens, plus it has a fortifying formula to protect your enamel. Crest, healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Breathe freely fast with Vicks Sinex.
My congestion's gone.
I can breathe again! I can breathe again! Oh.
Vicks Sinex. Breathe on.
Last November, we spoke loud and clear, passing Medicaid expansion, providing coverage for over 150,000 Utahns, bringing over $1 billion of our tax dollars home from Washington. But now, special interests and backroom deals threaten to undo the will of the people. Slippery changes that'll cost Utah hundreds of millions a year and strip health care from more than 50,000 Utahns. Call your legislators and the governor immediately. Tell them to leave our health care alone.
There's a period of anxiety here, and I cannot blame them for it.
It began with an abduction, turned into a 5-day killing spree. Half a dozen left dead. The murders all committed by 2 men. Were they Utah's first serial killers? ABC4 News' senior crime and punishment correspondent Marcos Ortiz turns the page back to 1966, to the investigations, where the murders took place, how the suspects were caught. Justice Files, Utah's first serial killers, tonight at 10.
A new survey found that men and women have very different expectations of how much money should be spent on Valentine's Day. All right. Men spend an average of $339 on their partners, and women spend an average of $64.
Sounds about right. But here's the real disconnect. Women only expect their partners to spend about $150. Men, on the other hand, they wish their partners would spend more than $200. And I have to say, I did not know that. And my husband's been getting gypped.
I thought spending $15 was pretty good. I'm in trouble.
No, you're way off. You got some better numbers, though, right?
I do. I have some great numbers. Let's go down to 102nd South and the Interstate 15. Look at the snow on the ground. That is going to turn into slushy, icy, black ice, okay?
Yeah.
So if you're traveling, you've got to go slow in the snow, okay? Please arrive safely. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. Some of that snow will linger into the morning, but at 18 degrees, everything's frozen, all right? So you got to be careful for the black ice. But in the afternoon, we get some sunshine, and we'll be a balmy 29 for the high. That'll happen about 4 p.m.
So what people should do is call whoever's leaving work right now and just remind them.
Slow down.
Slow down.
More accidents happen because people are going too fast.
Oh, most definitely. Okay, thanks again, Dan, for staying on top of it all. We'll see you again at 6.